Justice for one, justice for all. You get what you give when you've broken the law. Know what it costs before you commit it. Don't start a fight, I won't let you win
it. But the only true mystery is that our very lives are governed by dead people.
Certain films define their genres. When you think of horror, what comes to mind? Friday the 13th? Nightmare on Elm Street? What about action? I'm sure First Blood or Die Hard pops into your head. But what about in the exploitation subgenre? Is it just as easy to pluck out a few titles that define the very name of exploitation? Because it really depends on how you look at these films. Is it all about how blatantly something is ripped off, or the amount of hardcore nudity and gruesome violence? Well, when it comes to my own perspective, I define exploitation by name, or names rather. Names like Fulci, Mattei, Diodato, and Dario fucking Argento. Dario Argento is known for his stylish approach to exploitation filmmaking, and has made classics in the genre like Suspiria, Tenebrae, Inferno, and Phenomena. Demons is no exception to his excellence, but let's not ignore that this isn't just an Argento film. Dario did write it, but it was a joint venture with fellow exploitation filmmaker Lamberto Bava, who had also worked with Argento on Tenebrae and is also known for the action-packed Blast Fighter, which can only be described as First Blood meets Deliverance, and features an unforgettable standoff between two of my favorite Z-grade actors, George Eastman and Michael Sopke. And since this is like the second time I've gushed about Blast Fighter on this show, I'm making the promise. Next episode, I'm fucking reviewing it. We begin with some excellent music from Claudio Simonetti as a woman minding her own business rides on the subway to meet up with her friend. Shortly after getting to the station, she's seemingly stalked by the Terminator. Or Kano, or Heavy Metal Phantom of the Opera, whatever obvious reference you want to make. It turns out that it's just some artsy guy selling tickets to a movie with no title at the local theater. This is Cheryl. She convinces her friend Kathy to go with her to the movies to check out this untitled film given to her by the T-800. The lobby of the theater is packed full of foreshadowing and Angela from the Spawn comics. Our leading ladies bump into our leading men, George and Ken, and just like in real life, after just meeting somebody, they go and sit together.
Thanks.
Sometimes all it takes is the right touch.
I've tried that so many times at so many different theaters. Why do girls get weirded out when I punch soda machines? Apparently, the Terminator did a pretty good job with the tickets because he managed to convince Dolomite and his ladies to check out the movie. One of the hookers tries on some lobby foreshadowing and it licks her face. Now let's see if it was worth going to a movie with no knowledge of genre or even title.
The sleep of reason gives birth to monsters.
I'm sold. No, seriously, too few movies have rockin' 80s heavy metal soundtracks, especially nowadays.
According to an old legend, Nostradamus was buried here.
Nostradamus? Sounds like a rock group to me.
Yeah.
Close, but no cigar, honey. I think you may be referring to Serbian rapper Rambo Amadeus, which does give me a great idea to start my own band, Rocky Nostradamus. So with the creepy cathedral and talk about end-of-the-world predictions, the ladies clue into what kind of feature this is.
A horror movie. I knew it.
Go fuck an iceberg.
The same mask that cut hooker number 1 cuts a character in the film. The cut starts to get itchy, so the hooker ducks into the bathroom to pick at it like a teen going through puberty, and as punishment, the cut explodes like a massive fucking zit. So, mask turns people into demons. Why? Because that's the way it happens in the movie. And what does the movie have to do with it? Because... Hey look, Demon Hooker is killing the shit out of hooker number 2. And this is awesome. Life imitates art as a real demon rips through the movie screen while a demon attack is taking place in the film. I love it.
What are you waiting for? Run!
I just want to point out that I didn't edit that music in. I mean, I know it sounds like something that I would use, but this movie just does have a really rockin' 80s soundtrack. For whatever reason, they've been locked in the theater. Not even locked in, fucking cemented in. This was some seriously premeditated shit.
There has to be an explanation!
I might as well just say this now. The first time I ever watched this movie, I was waiting for an explanation, but by the time it ended, I came to the conclusion that things just happen. This movie is basically just one long highlight reel of really awesome shit. And believe me when I say this, it only gets better. George and Dolomite barricade Hooker Demon into a room using a soda machine, and the patrons of the theater are convinced that this is all happening because of the movie. So they figure, stop the movie, stop the demons.
What are you waiting for? Stop the movie!
Where's the projection booth?
Upstairs, next to the gallery.
Right, we'll all go up there together. If we stick together, no one gets hurt.
These characters are stupid in the sense that they believe a movie has come to life to kill them, but I'll give them this. They haven't been dulled down to the idiotic, hey, let's split up slasher logic. They bust into the projection room and find out that the projectors are on some automatic high-tech dealie running on their own without any people around. We now cut to our subplot characters, a band of 80s punks that love cruising through the neon-lit city listening to Billy Idol while they snort coke. As in Coca-Cola. Aw, how cute. They haven't quite gotten the swing of being scumbags yet. A blind guy that got his eyes torn out, counterproductive, believes that it's not the film that's causing their newly befallen evil, but that it's the theater itself. A demon tries to get the jump on our group, but the pimp doesn't play that shit and gives him a couple nice switchblade shanks and rail kills his punk ass. Oh, bullshit. Sorry, it pisses me off a little bit whenever the pimp dies. They kill him off halfway through the movie and he's the best fucking character.
Hey, slow down. Leave some of that stuff for us.
Oh, calm down. I'm sure you got plenty of quarters for the sody machine.
I said it was my turn. Well, I say this stuff is too good for you, asshole.
Oh, yeah?
Huh. Cocaine in a Coca-Cola can. That's actually pretty clever.
Ken, you think this'll stop him?
I got it, but don't tell the others.
Something tells me that politics don't work a whole lot differently. Hey, easy there, movie. I'm getting some seriously uncomfortable flashbacks to New York Ripper. The moviegoers manage to break a hole through one of the theater room walls, which they hope might be able to lead them out of the building, but they find that everything has been bricked off wall to wall. You ain't going nowhere! Right? I'm so sorry. I'll never do that again. Meanwhile, the punks get busted by the cops because we need a reason for them to find the theater too. Blindy McNo-Eyes has somehow found a way out, but it's too late for him as he's already demonized and dishes out some fury on the cops. The Sex Pistols make their way into the theater. Two of the moviegoers try to John McClane their way out, only one of them ends up being infected with the demon. Black Flag moved the soda machine that was keeping the demon hooker locked up, and this Misfits reject probably would have lived if she didn't feel the need to stop and check herself out. Then the poster for the movie happens, and it's fucking awesome. Cheryl and friends try to book it when the other moviegoers stupidly start removing the barricades because they heard someone. Well, it couldn't be a demon, could it? Oh fuck, so it was a demon? George is starting to kind of look like an action hero, and unfortunately Kathy is starting to look like a demon. A look that naturally ain't too fucking acceptable at this point in time. Ken beats Kathy over the fucking head with a steel grate like Triple H laying out Cactus Jack with a folding chair. The demon within Kathy pulls an alien and bursts out of her, clawing Ken across the chest, subjecting him to the horrors of becoming a demon himself. Ken doesn't want to change, so he requests an honorable death, putting that foreshadowing katana into play.
There can be only one.
What takes place now is quite possibly the best scene in any movie ever. George grabs the foreshadowing katana, jumps on the foreshadowing dirt bike, and rides it into the theater, decapitating every demon in his path as fucking Saxon blares in the background, pumping the scene with so much heavy metal testosterone that my biceps just got 5 sizes fucking larger. If you want the epitome of manliness, then look no further than to that George guy from Demons. Keep in mind, folks, this shit is almost 30 years before games like Saints Row, and in my humble opinion, we haven't seen anything quite this awesome in any horror, exploitation, or action movie since Demons. So after what we've just witnessed, is there anything that can top it? Anything at all? Like I said earlier, better by the minute. After using the propellers to chop up some demons, they can't quite get the chopper to actually start, but luckily there's a grappling hook gun. George gives us a nice action hero pose and gets Cheryl to the roof, but things can't end that easily as the Terminator dude from the beginning of the movie returns in demon form. That, or he's just been evil all along. I suppose that makes more sense. George and Cheryl have been through far worse than his bitch ass though, so they curb stomp him into some rubble. And it's a good thing too that he was so easy to dispatch, because it looks as if demons have taken over the entire city. I take it those two cops got killed, and then they got up and killed, and then who they killed got up and killed, turning the city, or quite possibly the entire world, into a burning, badass Saxon music video. Some survivalists pick up George and Cheryl, and as abruptly as they showed up, Cheryl turns into a demon and they plug her poor ass. Which actually kinda doesn't make any fucking sense. When was she ever scratched? Hell, we saw George get clawed up dozens of times during the dirt bike massacre scene. Gaping plot holes aside, I recommend the shit out of this movie. The characters are great. You've got Bobby Rhodes, who played the pimp, who has since become a cult icon. You can even buy a t-shirt that depicts his pimp character from the movie from RottenCotton.com, a site that I get most of my wardrobe from. There's also Goretta, who played Demon Hooker #1. She's a very familiar face in the exploitation subgenre. She had starring roles in two of my favorite Bruno Mattei films, Rats, Nights of Terror, and the infamous Terminator 2. And then there's George. Badass dirt bike riding, katana swinging motherfucker George. He was played by Urbano Barberini, a man that bears a striking resemblance to Jensen Ackles. And he's no stranger to Dario Argento. He was in Argento's film Opera a few years after Demons, playing the role of Inspector Santini. The music in Demons is awesome. If you're a metalhead, this movie was tailor-made for you. Saxon, Pretty Maids, Accept, Motley Crue, all the good shit. There's also some Billy Idol and Rick Springfield, which is super cool. And of course, the original score by Claudio Simonetti kicks all kinds of ass. And of course, it has that masterful Argento style. The blue and red lighting is used to perfection to illustrate the chaos and the action in a masterful fucking way. This was a movie that I've loved for a long time, and it was always on the list of movies to review for this show, so I had always thought that it would be the easiest fucking thing to write. By that I mean, there are things that happen that I'd normally write in as a bit, like random awesome music playing during a scene to make it even cooler. But this movie already has a fucking awesome soundtrack, and really is something that you just need to experience to truly appreciate. And now you know that Demons is one of my all-time favorite movies. And if you want a fun fact that goes with that pretty well, Danzig is one of my favorite musicians. I wonder how many people out there think I'm a hardcore Satanist.